Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Fellowship of Nanaimo. And this is unusual, but we seem to not have enough seats. It's awesome. I mean, it's awesome we have this many people. Maybe grab some more seats. Yeah. Our mission is to create spiritual connection and bring compassion, discovery, and social justice to life. My name is Catherine Walker, and I'm your service leader this morning. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. Could you please take a moment and silence or turn off your cell phone? And try and remember to turn it on after the service. Let's say hello to everyone who's attending on Zoom. So if you turn around and look at that frog, then you'll be facing them because it's the camera's up there. And there they are. Whatever your hopes, dreams, and aspirations, whatever your race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, whatever makes you who you are warmly welcomed here. In keeping with our Unitarian Universalist aspiration of radical inclusion, we invite you to share your pronouns as well as your name when introducing yourself, if you're comfortable doing so. We are grateful for a diversity of voices on Sunday morning, and our services vary from week to week. Our service usually runs between 60 and 75 minutes. If this is your first time with us, a very special welcome to you. If you're joining us online for the first time, please consider sharing your contact information with us. You can share it with the host by going to the chat icon at the bottom of your screen. We'd love to welcome you to our community. We have a website, ufon.ca, and invite you to check it out for more detailed information about who we are, the services we offer, and how you can connect with us. We acknowledge today that we meet on the traditional territories of the Snuneymuxw First Nation. As Unitarians, we are committed to the work of reconciliation required to address the harm done to all Indigenous peoples and their cultures by non-Indigenous peoples. We have much to learn from the Indigenous perspective, including that the earth is the source of all life and that our responsibility is to honor and care for it. I have 4 announcements today. The first is from the Rainbow Committee. Today is Pansexual and Pan-Romantic Day, a special day to celebrate the pan community, a multisexual umbrella including bisexual, omnisexual, and polysexual folks. We've just put up a new yard sign today in front of our building for the months of May and June, generously donated by PFLAG Canada, Nanaimo. The words on the side read, "We support our queer, trans, and gender diverse families," and bears the logos of both PFLAG and UFON. And this morning, Rupert, my Rainbow Committee co-chair, is showcasing 3 books, it's back there, from the sexual and gender diversity section of our lending library. So be sure to check these out, and you can sign them out too if you like them. As I'm sure most everybody knows, that next Saturday night is the Goods and Service Auction. It will be from starting at 5 and going till around 10 p.m. If you plan to attend, please let us know. There is an online sign-up through a link in the weekly update, or you can talk to Ruth today. And for new folks, it's an event, it's the biggest fundraiser of the year, but it's a lot of fun. It's a great social event, and there's all kinds of stuff that you can bid on. It's an auction, and there's events. There's a long list of events up there, community events that you can bid for tickets, and there's also actual physical things you can buy. There's some of them out on the table. Have a look after the service. Finally, the auction organizers are looking for a few volunteers for the following. Event setup, next Saturday morning from 10 to noon. Kitchen elves at the event, prep coffee and tea, clean dishes, etc. And then post-event takedown and clean up. See Ruth to join the volunteer team. And Ruth wanted me to let you know that everyone is welcome, members and friends. And if you don't want to stay for the auction, just come for the potluck. But please let her know, or let them know, so that we have enough food and we're prepared. Okay. Next Sunday after the meeting is the general meeting. It's not the AGM where we install board members. This is where we approve the budget. So we do need a quorum, and if you have some questions about the budget, Larry has kindly offered to, there's Larry, to meet you in the boardroom after the service at 12:30, and you can ask him questions about the budget.
Is that today?
Today, that's today, yeah. So you're prepared for next week.
And do people bring wine to the potluck?
That's a darn good question.
They used to, that's what made me ask.
Oh, because last year, weren't we selling alcohol?
Yes.
What's happening this year? Ruth?
We cannot advertise that
Oh.
there's any alcohol at the event. We will have a refreshment station.
Oh, look, you have a fresh smoke station.
Fresh smoked. Okay. That's a good question, and thank you for that vague and confusing, but pretty clear answer.
Required.
Legally required answer. Thank you, Ruth. Well done. Okay. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be there because I'll be camping for my birthday, so, yeah. But I'm going to have some pottery. Oh, thank you. I'm going to have some pottery, not for sale, at the auction. I forgot to bring it, but I'm going to bring it in, or give it to Ruth or something, I don't know. Okay, to find out about all special events, groups, and meetings taking place in the hall, you can go to the calendar on our website. You could read the weekly email sent to you on Friday, and if you want to get signed up for that, talk to Bev and Brenda at the back. Or you could check out the large whiteboards in the hall by the washrooms that way. Today, our service presenter is our very own Debbie Goodman, who has titled this service Abundance. Let us now enter into sacred time. Our music director, Leah Hokinson, will lead us into worship through music. Leah and the fabulous Foophonics. No, this is...
Good morning, everyone. The fabulous Foophonics are going to sing the spiritual There's Honey in the Rock.
There's honey in the rock for all God's children. Honey in the rock, honey in the rock. There's honey in the rock for all God's children. Feed every child of God. We can have justice if we care. Feed every child of God. Right is right and fair is fair. Feed every child of God. There's honey in the rock for all God's children. Honey in the rock, honey in the rock. There's honey in the rock for all God's children. Feed every child of God.
When I'm happy, I'll shout and sing
Feed every child of God.
and make the heavenly spirit sing.
Feed every child of God. There's honey in the rock for all God's children. Honey in the rock, honey in the rock. There's honey in the rock for all God's children. Feed every child of God. One of these mornings, bright and fair. Feed every child of God. Gonna take my flight in the middle of the air. Feed every child of God. There's honey in the rock for all God's children. Honey in the rock, honey in the rock. There's honey in the rock for all God's children. Feed every child of God.
If the chains hold us down, we gotta break the rock.
Feed every child of God.
and we'll taste sweet honey in the rock.
Feed every child of God. There's honey in the rock for all God's children. Honey in the rock, honey in the rock. There's honey in the rock for all God's children. Feed every child of God. There's honey in the rock for all God's children. Honey in the rock, honey in the rock. There's honey in the rock for all God's children. Feed every child of God.
Oh. Sorry. You get to sit down now.
Shit.
We get a blurb from Zoomland. Sometimes we get interesting outbursts from the Zoom feed. Good morning. Thank you all for being here on this beautiful May morning. For those who don't know me, my name is Debbie Goodman, and I'm a longtime member of the fellowship. Thank you to Leah and the choir for opening our time together with a song about honey in the rock. Today's program is about abundance, and honey in the rock is one of the great biblical symbols of abundance. It's the concept from Psalm 81 that the divine will provide the sweetest sustenance to us, honey, from the most unlikely places, out of the rock. In that spirit, I'd like to invite everyone to relax, breathe deeply, and set down whatever burdens you are carrying this morning as we enter our time together. Let this be an hour of self-care for your spirit, honey from the rock. Let this be an hour of collectively counting the blessings in our lives, in our friendships, in our families, in this church community, on this island we call home, and in our beloved Canada. With the passing of Pope Francis and the induction of Pope Leo XIV, also affectionately known as Bob from Chicago, I've been thinking about Catholic teachings and Catholic spirituality. As Unitarians, we draw wisdom and inspiration from many sources, including other faith traditions. And there are two contemporary Catholic writers whose work has been inspirational to me for a long time. Both were born in 1956, close to Pope Leo. He was born in 1955, so we almost nailed it. Both of these writers have died in recent years, but they are very much of our time, and they're very alive in my heart and mind whenever I sit down to write a story. One is the Irish priest, poet, and writer John O'Donohue, whom many of you may already be familiar with. The other is American essayist, novelist, and magazine editor Brian Doyle. His name is probably not as familiar to you, but his writing was distinctive. A collection of essays assembled after his passing called him a story catcher, and that really captures his essence. So today, I'd like to explore Catholic spirituality with you through the words of John O'Donohue and Brian Doyle, both of whose works evoke the abundance of the divine, beginning with this passage to set the stage. This is from Eternal Echoes by John O'Donohue. I remember as a child discovering the echo of sound. It was the first time my father took me up the mountain to herd the cattle. As we passed a limestone cliff, he called out to the cattle in the distance. His call had barely ended when it was copied exactly and sent forth again by the stone. It was a fascinating discovery. I tried out my own voice, and the echo returned faithfully every time. It was as if the solid limestone mountains had secret hearing and voice. Their natural stillness and silence suddenly broke forth in an exact mimic of the human voice, indicating that there is a resonant heart in the depths of silence. The stone responds in a symmetry of sound. Hearing one's echo out among the lonely mountains seems to suggest that one is not alone. Landscape and nature know us, and the returning echo seems to confirm that we belong here. We live in a world that responds to our longing. It is a place where the echoes always return, even if sometimes slowly. It is as if the dynamic symmetry of the echo comprised the radius of an invisible but powerful circle of belonging. So that's a little different take on Honey from the Rock. And in that spirit, I'll invite Catherine back up and we'll light our chalice.
Within the heart of the flower, the fountain of beauty. Within the heart of the community, a fire that warms and dances. Within the heart of each of us, a spark of the spirit of life. Holy, holy, holy. And now we'll sing a wonderful song.
Please rise in body or in spirit, and we will sing together a song by Peter Mayer called Holy Now.
Just have to remember what comes next.
Enjoy the concerns. Do you want that?
When I was a boy each week, on Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest, and he would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. I remember feeling sad, miracles don't happen still, but now I can't keep track. Everything's a miracle. Everything, everything, everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was mere at best, it barely wet my fingertips, but now I have to hold my breath and swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but now I walk with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I'll tell you that it can't be done. This morning I was out, I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a harding bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to turn my head. I remember church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. I used to be a word up there, heaven's having great hand-me-down, but I'm walking on a reverent air, 'cause everything's holy now.
I just love that song. I think that Reverend Deborah Falk introduced it to us a while ago in a service. And if you really love it, it's on YouTube. Peter Mayer does a gorgeous job, and there's videos of nature, and it's just mind-blowing. And it really relates, doesn't matter what your spiritual or non-spiritual background is. I was raised an atheist, and that just moves me. Well, I'm not an atheist now, but that's another story. But I'm definitely not a Catholic, so. Okay. It's time for joys and concerns. As a spiritual community, it is our intention to be authentically present to one another, especially in these different and quite difficult times. One way we do this is by including in the service a time to listen to the significant personal milestones in our lives. If you've had such a milestone and wish to share it, now is the time to do so. We'll begin with those of you in the hall, and then we'll invite those attending on Zoom. When you come to the microphone, please introduce yourself with your full name. As I place the final pebble in the water bowl for the joys and concerns that have been left unspoken, I ask that you hold in your heart everything that you have heard and felt.
We share in love, we listen in love, we hold one another in love. Each joy and concern we witness and learn and grow together in love and grow together in love.
This is the time in our service that we usually reserve for a story for all ages, for either little children or the child that resides within all of us. Today, I've chosen an essay that's not exactly a children's story, but it speaks to our childhood concept of spirituality. This is by Brian Doyle, and it's called The Loquacious Man. Brian writes, I have been a Catholic since 1956, when I was baptized wearing a white dress. My forebears, family, friends, schools, and employers were Catholic. Catholicism was my language, my coat, my house. I learned to pray in 2 American Catholic tongues, Latin and English, and to relish the smoky poetry of the Mass, an ancient ritual prayer. I chanted the rosary with my brothers and sister. I prayed to St. Francis when I found the huddled corpses of sparrows. I prayed to St. Blaise when my throat burned. When I was 12, my grandmother shriveled and died, and I prayed desperately for her soul during a funeral mass, a sad waltz which taught me the enormous power of ritual, the skeleton that sustains us when we are weak. Then I stopped praying. It seemed pointless, a speech delivered to an empty room, a plea without ears. Many years passed. I grew up. Slowly, I began to hear and see and taste prayers. A fox against snow, my wife's hand, my mother's corduroy voice. One morning on an island, I went to get my mail, and 2 purple finches flew out of the mailbox, and I knew that they were prayers. One day, years later, a cold doctor said to me, "You will never have children." And that night, I opened my mouth and prayed to the woods and skies and birds, to the shambling God I could not find but sensed everywhere. And since that day, I have prayed silently and aloud, with my hands and feet, with my heart. It seems to me now that all things are prayers. Curiosity and memory and silence and water are prayers. People are prayers. I have a daughter now, 2 years old, an exuberant prayer. When we talk about God, whom she calls Gott, we talk when she is asleep. My wife and I cover her with 1 blanket and 2 prayers. As a boy, I learned the names of the boxes that prayers were mailed in. Our Father, Hail Mary, the Mass of the Dead. I came to hate the boxes because they seemed empty. I did not see that they were a means to an end, and that the end was a piercing conversation with Gott, the man who is nowhere and everywhere, who is not a man, who was a man, who never stops talking.
We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go, to nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our hearts as you go. Nous vous enterrons des mots maintenant et toujours, que vainqueur soit épais pour toujours. Cultivons notre ciel jour après jour, nous vous enterrons des mots pour toujours.
And this is the time in our service reserved for meditation. So I invite everyone to relax, breathe deeply, get comfortable. You can close your eyes if you wish. And in this meditation, you can replace the word God in your own mind with whatever works for you, such as the Great Spirit, the Divine, or the Mystery. This is from John O'Donohue, A Blessing. May you know that absence is full of tender presence, and that nothing is ever lost or forgotten. May the absences in your life be full of eternal echo. May you sense around you the secret elsewhere, which holds the presences that have left your life. May you be generous in your embrace of loss. May the sore well of grief turn into a well of seamless presence. May your compassion reach out to the ones we never hear from, and may you have the courage to speak out for the excluded ones. May you become the gracious and passionate subject of your own life. May you not disrespect your mystery through brittle words or false belonging. May you be embraced by God, in whom dawn and twilight are one, and may your belonging inhabit its deepest dreams within the shelter of the great belonging. We'll now have a time of silence, and Leah will bring us out of meditation through music. Our reflection this morning is broken into 3 parts with musical interludes between the parts. And before we get into part 1, I just want to give you a little background for this piece. Brian Doyle, who wrote it, was born in New York City and educated at University of Notre Dame in Indiana, but he settled, worked, wrote, and raised his family in Oregon. For many years, he edited Portland Magazine, a publication of the University of Portland, which is a private Catholic university overlooking the Willamette River. As a resident of the Pacific Northwest, he knew a great deal about rain and the rainforest. So I want to share with you one of his reflections on rain, which you may relate to. And a quick note, when he wrote this piece, Francis, a Jesuit, was the Pope. This essay is entitled Pitter and Drench. Question from a prospective student's mother asked of me as we stand by the chapel on the most beautiful, crisp, sunlit October day you ever saw in your life. Does it rain here? Does it rain here? Is the Pope Jesuit? Is the ocean salty? Do swallows return in the spring? Are there still trees bigger than your house in the remote ravines of the dense, moist forests of Cascadia? How do you think those trees got to be so epic? Did you know that those huge trees can drink water right out of the air? Do you think that a tree could get its water from the air without there being a lot of water in the air? Does it rain here? Come back on All Souls Day when the rains begin with an indescribable, gentle, firm authority so that you know, even before you are fully awake, that this is the day. This is the beginning of the wet. For the rain is thorough and relentless and inarguable, and this is not a shower or a scatter or a passing cloudburst or a storm. It is the opening bars of a very long song, the first chapter of a book that will take the next 3 seasons to read, the first minutes of a very long game, during which you will huddle under an umbrella and thrash in the closet for your raincoat and rub mink oil into your shoes yet again and put that ratty old towel on the porch so that when the dog wants to come in, some poor child has to kneel and wipe his muddy paws so he does not trot runes upon the floor that I just this minute finished sweeping. Does it rain here? Look about you. Gaze long and lovingly on the lushness of the grass and the vault of the trees and the tangled insistence of the bushes and the startling prevalence of moss and the little swale near the chapel that is almost always moist, no matter how hot and dry the weather, and tell me if you think that perhaps, yes, a drop doth fall here and there, and then another, and then 1,000 and million and uncountable zillions from November right through June, so that summer here is accounted from July through October, after which the rains begin, and neither they do not cease. Day after day after day of mist and rain and fog and drizzle and pitter and drench. Gaze about you piercingly at the endless ranks and shades of green across the river, and tell me if you think the long, thicketed flank of the Tualatin Mountains is perhaps the product of uncountable years of the steadiest rain you could ever imagine. Gaze down upon the broad muscle of the river and consider whence came all that water, which does not cease though the sun be bright and almost doubles its serpentine girth in spring, when months of rain and weeks of snowmelt send a rush and roar of immense proportions to the sea, the water from which all things came, including, in a sense, us. Does it rain here? Madam, it does. But rather than groan and moan about it, let us consider it an extraordinary gift from the One. Falling free and fresh from the sky, every blessed day here on the bluff is clean water, untouched and untrammeled by the greedy hand of man. And so let us step inside the chapel and thank that which once called itself, I am who I am, who giveth us profligately the sweet and savory rain. And so, amen.
This is a song that visited one morning after a lot of rain. I woke up one morning and the rain was pouring down and it was something like June or something like that, and had this moment of, oh please, can we just have a little bit of sunshine? And so I had this moment of closing my eyes and hearing the rain on the roof and imagining that this rain was helping me let go. It's called Matins, a song in praise of the sound of the rain. Sunday morning, the rain's coming down, reminding every drop of me to let go. Let go of the line, illusions of mine, water falling free, healing. He is the one and the one he is not, divided by me that wants what he's got. Everything is okay, heard in a different way. A change of heart, a change of mind. Listen in and we may find another voice calls to us. Ooh, like the rain does, like the rain does. A change of mind, a change of heart. We go inside the listening art. Another song calls to us. Ooh, like the rain does. Oh, like the rain does. Ooh, yeah, like the rain does.
This second essay is also by Brian Doyle. It's called A Vast Table. My first sense that the world might be larger than my street came at an old oaken table around which my family gathered night after night for meals and musing. Table talk was the necessary glue in my large and opinionated tribe, and many nights after dinner, my mother would light a cigarette and hold court. Her children ranged around the table in various states of splay, the talk usually political or literary, but liable to lurch into education, religion, medicine, morality, or the biochemical workings of the compost heap behind the garage. Each child arrived at an expertise or two over the years, according to taste. My sister talked religion and politics, my older brother politics and mathematics, and my younger brothers sylvology and ichthyology respectively, although my youngest brother also had a thing for ships and waters, believing, as did the water rat in Kenneth Graham's The Wind in the Willows, that there is absolutely nothing half so much worth doing as simply messing about in boats, which he has done ever since, even unto deep-sea diving and unspooling twine through the silent black caverns of sunken ships as he swims through them. It was at that table of red oak that I first went abroad. I remember the words Australia and Manila unspooling in the air, places my father had been in the war, and then Canada, much of which he had visited in the course of his work as a journalist. Into the stacks of books surrounding the table, I chased the landscapes of that continental work, and so discovered further delicious matters to explore. The Yukon, Quebec, Saskatchewan, the works of Mordecai Rickler and Robertson Davies, the habits of the mysterious Canadian lynx. This happened again and again with all sorts of nations, and by the time I actually set foot on foreign soil, years later, I had already traveled widely at home, absorbing not only the first lesson of study abroad, that every culture is different, but my first inkling of the deeper lesson that all people crave the same foods in their lives: love, substance, and grace. Some years ago, my brother, the woodman and artisan, made a new and larger table for my mother, also red oak. And every summer now, the clan gathers around it and sails into the ocean of talk and memory and story that creates and sustains a family through time and across continents. My father and mother anchor the ends of the table. Their children and children's children ranged in motley moil between, and thus arrayed, we set forth through landscapes strange and wondrous, telling tales as we go, starting a new crew of children on unimaginable journeys of their own, the keel of their imaginations, a sturdy oaken table, wonderfully larger than it appears to be. And now, please welcome the choir back for a musical response. Many thanks once again to the choir and to Leah, who does it all. Plays, sings, composes, and holds the Foophonics together. Harder than it sounds. This is the third and last part of the reflection. It's entitled An Ancient Promise by Brian Doyle. My friend Thomas became a priest when he was 28 years old. Before he donned the crow suit, as he calls his cassock, he was a physical therapist who had a sweet Southern girlfriend. One summer day, he packed his old car with his gear and drove to a seminary. 5 years later, he was an assistant pastor in a Memphis slum. Since then, he's served stints in parishes in Chicago and New York. Today, at age 36, he is the chaplain of a New York hospital. He is on call 24 hours a day, and his face shows it. There are gray hairs in his beard, and he smokes 2 packs of cigarettes a day. He lives in 2 rooms with 2 birds. He is at the same time the most direct and the most gentle man I know. He has been at the bedside of dying children more times than he can remember. What do you tell them? I asked. That God will hold them in his hands, he said. How can you stand it? I asked. Somebody has to take care of their souls. A few months after he packed his car and drove to the seminary, we were drinking old whiskey together on Christmas Eve, a tradition we adhered to for many years. We met every year in a bar under a railroad track. When a freight went over, the bottles jumped and startled behind the bar. Sometimes the jukebox would shut itself off. Why do you want to be a priest? I asked. Because my guts said so. What the hell does that mean? I don't know, Brian, said Tom patiently. I just know this is what I should do. I believe that people have souls and that their souls are eternal and that what they do on earth matters enormously. I believe that there are men and women who give up one life to help people with that other life, and I think I'm one of those men. I never cared much for the formal church, for the politics and rituals and regulations. But there is something deep in the priesthood, something inarticulate, something that stabs me in the heart. You can't dress it up in words because words fall off of it. It's ancient and holy. Let's drink to it. I did, and I do. Our time of reflection ends here with what is ancient and holy, and with drinking old whiskey with old friends as we contemplate the mystery of it all. And in that spirit, we'll sing a final song together.
Please rise in body or in spirit, and we will sing together, answering the call to love.
Faith, hope, and love.
That was lovely, Debbie. Now it's time for our offering. Charla and Debbie will now pass the baskets for the offering. For those here with us for the first time, your presence is your contribution. Those online can go to our website and click the big blue donate button on the home page to give. To help the wider community, half of all cash donations will be given to our charity of the month. This month's charity is PFLAG Nanaimo, and PFLAG stands for Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays, which is what it was called in the beginning, and now it's very, it's a rainbow umbrella organization for all groups, all LGBTQ2 plus groups. PFLAG Nanaimo holds peer support meetings for members of the 2SL, oh boy, I still struggle with this, because the order changes too, you know, if you're, and I don't know that this is the latest order, but the 2S LGBTQI plus community. And I just like, you know, the rainbow community, and their families, partners, friends, and allies. The Nanaimo chapter usually meets the first Saturday of the month, 11 to 12:30 at the Nanaimo Family Life Association, 1070 Townsite Road. It's just down the road that way, except for June 14th when they will meet at the Harborfront Library, upstairs meeting room. And ask Rupert for more information. If you have questions, he is the co-chair, one of them. If you want your donation to go to the charity of the month, PFLAG, you will need to make a note of that on your e-transfer or check. Thank you for your support.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Our closing words are from a poem called Vespers by John O'Donohue. After the day's frenzy, may the heart grow still, gracious in thought for all the day brought, surprises that dawn could never have dreamed, the blue silence that came to still the mind, the quiver of mystery at the edge of a glimpse, the golden echoes of words behind voices. May it be so. Go in peace.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. We are nearing the end of our service. After we sing Carry the Flame, you have the opportunity to join a social group. In the hall, there are refreshments and discussion. And at 12:30, Larry will update you on the budget. If you want to join an online breakout room, stay online and the host will put you there. I want to take a moment to thank the many people who have given their time and energy to make today's service so wonderful. The Sunday Services Committee, the audiovisual team, Leah, the choir, the greeters and offering collectors, those at the welcoming table, the kitchen volunteers who come early and stay late for cleanup, and those who brought food and flowers, our heartfelt gratitude to you all. We'll now sing our final song, Carry the Flame. The words are on the wall in the hall, there and there. Our custom is to stand and hold hands or touch elbows as you are comfortable.
Oh, absolutely.